Late one evening, the moon was shining. We were lying in bed. I turned her over off of my shoulder and kissed her on the head. My head was screaming as she was dreaming. She never could get enough of all the loving in New York City. She had to call my bluff. And as I lay crying into my sheets, she never would be true. All my tears just like the ocean from her to me and you. And she would coo, tangled up in blue. When we met, she wasn't married yet. She never would have married me. First impression's always the strongest, the last impression victory. I left her alone up in her home, in a castle up in the sky. She'd wave to me from her ivory tower, I could only wave goodbye. And all the while I kept on searching and working and paying dues, knowing how if you were lonesome I'd make it back to you like a man that's true, tangled up in blue. I broke my back for 5 long years. She had the nerve to put me out. I knew she wasn't the one, I said, but that's what I'm singing about. She drove her car, I drove her crazy. She'd talk about jealousy. She'd say one thing, I'd say the other while criticizing empathy. She understood all too well my work would set me free. And blue and lonely and left behind and leaving you to me and me to you, tangled up in blue. A smoke-filled room in a cafe bar, a long way from anywhere nice, where all the ghosts of my daddy's friends have paid the revolution's price. And she walked in and the air got thick. A hobo reached for a knife. Leave her alone, I said to him, it's only just my wife. I kissed her there upon the cheek. A man said, step aside. My heart was aching and feeling weak, and she's looking for a place to hide behind you, tangled up in blue. She ran like the wind back to Hollywood and left Chicago for me. I lived inside a halfway house and raised a glass of misery. A photograph and an old postcard and a dog-eared memory of happy times like a bell that chimes, a bell that tolls just for me. And all along while you watched over, I could sing away and keep on hoping and keep on praying that when we'd meet I'd say that I love you, tangled up in blue. A phoenix came and swept me up and took me back to school. A book about unrequited love I devoured like a fool. But now I know you so much better than I ever did before. She never read that book to me, but she knew it to the core. And after all that book had said and all the hope was lost, freedom raised its ugly head and said it's time to pay the cost and pay your dues, tangled up in blue. I took a job up on Old Broadway, moving produce off of a truck. I've got one shot to give it all I've got to try my luck. She didn't say when she got over that I'd be close behind. Tinseltown and its inducements making me lose my mind. A girl out there with a siren scream and her picture on my wall. The only place that's left on earth where it's safe for me to fall and be with you, tangled up in blue.